What's going on, fam?
What's going on?
Man,
How
what's
we
going?
doing? We're live.
Shout out
Well,
to all.
two
What?
platforms, one podcast. We're live.
Exactly. Exactly right. I just want to shout out all the people out there, constant followers of this podcast. We appreciate you.
Mm-hmm. We sure
Hey,
do.
we got some new things that we're gonna roll out this
Mm-hmm.
podcast, man.
Yeah, man. We are. We got
We making all kinds of gains. All kinds. I brought that shirt up at the perfect time. We got the branding. Hodge twins aren't about gains anymore, so we're taking it from them.
exactly. Exactly. We came prepared.
Yep. What else we got, man? Show them a little something.
All right. You know.
No, we don't want people logging off. We want people logging in to our podcast. And speaking of, what's going on, Darren? I see the like there. Appreciate you, man.
Mm-hmm.
And the views.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, we got a whole new soundboard and sound system courtesy of Denison.
Mm-hmm.
Running it live for us. So we'll get the actual. We're gonna have to find like an animation to go with this, man. To
I
go with
know.
the actual intro in
I
real
know.
time. It's very exciting. So we're upping the production value for you guys right here. And we're very excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
So
We just want it to be even more interactive than we already are, you know. Um,
absolutely.
you guys are so amazing, and we want to continue to be able to give you the best content that we can. And so this is just another deal. That's all.
Absolutely. So I before we jump into the topic of the day, I have a funny story I want to tell, man.
Uh-oh. What's that
I
funny
mean, I
story?
haven't told Dennison just in case viewers are wondering. So the other day I went to a concert for the band Nothing More, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, at Cotillion in Wichita. Um, it was interesting because there were not more people there when I saw them the first time, which was 5 years ago. There's a lot of time for career changes by then, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or growth. But with Wichita, it's just different, man. Like I'll paint a picture for you with Wichita with the music scene. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Metallica comes here in 2019, right? I get to see them more as like a bucket list kind of thing, like see one of the biggest bands of all time, right? They break records at Intrust Bank Arena, which is the biggest arena we have, for attendance. Um, which was I think it was somewhere in the mid 15,000. It was like 15,500 people were at this concert. Pretty massive, right?
Yeah.
But just a couple months back, there's some dude I cannot remember his name,
Mm-hmm.
but he's just become big in the last 2 years, and he set an attendance record at Intrust Bank Arena, broke Metallica's record
Wow.
with like 16,000 people in attendance, and he's just some country dude who started like 2 years ago, man.
That's crazy, man.
Right, right, but that's also Wichita, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, when if it's rock bands any newer than like 2005, people are not going out to see it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Nothing More. Their first album is from 2010. They first blew up in 2014, so they're
Mm-hmm.
relatively newish.
Mm-hmm.
So with that said, still a good amount of people there, just not packed out, kind of like I expected it to be because there were 3 openers. All right.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I'm gonna set this story up. I bought VIP ticket, right, for
Mm-hmm.
myself.
Uh-huh.
My good friend Derek, good friend Brennan, and his wife Nikki were all there. They did not buy VIPs, and they were able to stand right where I was standing. It wasn't an issue. They got there when the
Wow.
doors opened. We were 2 rows from we were like two. There was 1 row in front of us. That was it.
Wow.
Insane, right? So
Yeah.
we're interacting. Well, I'll get to that. So I just want to be clear. This email that I got when and really the promotion of what the VIP stuff would be was way more than what it was.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I bought. So they told us, you get merch, you get to meet them, they get Q&A and all this kind of stuff. I did it with Alter Bridge, which is my favorite band of all time. Dennison was there for that. It was just four
Mm-hmm.
years ago. I got like two shirts, a badge with Alter Bridge logo on it. I think an album, um, in a whole bag, and I got to meet them, got a photo shoot with them, right? And then got to watch their sound check, and then keep my spot and be up front for the whole show, right?
Yeah.
Now, we didn't do that because I went back outside so Dennison could get to where I was easier because it was like 4,500 people at that show, right?
Yeah.
So, but I just want to set that as a precedent here for this story, okay? So we're standing up front. First band starts. I'm blanking on their name right now. I'm not gonna lie. I've been blanking on their name ever since I saw them. But they were
And
good. They were pretty good.
okay.
What's up? What were you gonna say?
Just not a lasting impression.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But they were trying, they kept trying to get the crowd to start doing mosh pits, bro. So that
Interesting.
starts. And people are getting shoved and everything like that,
Mm-hmm.
right? The second band comes out, blanking on their name too, but it was totally different vibe, right? So this first band, you just picture as like good hard rock, but not like radio hard rock, more like a groove, but it's like heavy at the same time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be like, and then like
Mm-hmm.
it gets like no 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 like that kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then, but then the next band is like full on screamo and just riffing the whole time, right? Just going ham. It's insane. And it was just an interesting like blend of people on the stage. I can't remember their name either, but they got the pits going. This dude literally jumped the fence. The lead singer jumped the fence out into the crowd and ran out in the crowd and started mosh pitting with those people.
Oh my gosh.
A girl who was like in her teens got hurt because somebody from the pit flew out, hit her, slammed her head into the railing. She got hurt, bro.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah. So she's gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
This band plays. I have to say, I kind of got into it as it kept going on, but overall, I'm not seeking them out. I don't really care.
Yeah.
And also, shout out to Derek. He was confused because when he had looked them up before, they used to be a one-person EDM act,
Oh,
and now they're a four-piece metal band. Like out of
talk
nowhere.
about a 180.
Yeah, exactly. So then the main opening act. Now, yes, I could have just showed up at this time, but I bought VIP. And at Cotillion, there's no designated VIP area. And so I had to be there for this whole lineup, three opening bands and then the headliner, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this band was called Dead Poet Society. They're really good. I will highly recommend them. Check out Dead Poet Society. They were a good band, man. Kind of more of the same of the vibe I was expressing earlier, just
Mm-hmm.
better, more well rounded, just very great musicianship. Two guitarists, one of them was a singer, a bassist, and a drummer. And they had great harmonies and everything like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But surprisingly, they were pushing the pits as well, right? But the two singers from the first band started crowd surfing.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm telling you, man, I'm in that row right at the front, right in front of the lead singer, dude. So they're coming right over me. I'm having to help carry them. There's other randoms that are doing it. It's like six people crowd surfing that we had to help with, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of them, the people behind my friend Brennan and his wife, they didn't carry the dude's leg. So it just drops down on Brennan and then pushes him down and slams into Nikki, his wife, dude.
Oh my gosh.
And then, but this is what's funny. It's the singer from the first band, and
Mm-hmm.
he's like getting carried like this, and he's like, he's like, "Oh my god, are you guys okay? I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for that to happen." It was wild, and so that kept happening. Someone in the pit fell down, And then the band, and both the times people got hurt, right? I have to shout both of these bands that did it. One of them being Dead Poet Society, they both stopped playing. Okay, in
Okay.
those moments, they just stopped entirely. But this dude was just like on the ground. Dead Poet Society vamped for like 30 seconds, and then they just stopped. And it was like a minute later, dude got up and he was like, "Let's go." I'm like, "What's happening, man?" So that went down, and then finally nothing more comes out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the future of rock music, for people who don't know, a lot of it, not saying this will be permanent, but right now how it goes is you have amp simulators,
Mm-hmm.
and then you don't have a real amp. Now, Dead Poet Society had that, but they had real power amps on stage. So not guitar amps, but power amps they could run the pedals through that were simulating the whole setup
Mm-hmm.
and put it out for stage sound. Now, why this is good, right? At Cotillion, when you're up against a railing, there's no speakers, nothing there. They have walls of speakers that go down like this on both sides, but you're like past them. Like I'm trying to, so it's like back here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with nothing more, they didn't have tracks running like the first four songs, and their tracks are really, or their songs are really track laden. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but the first like four songs, all I'm hearing are drums and then Johnny Hawkins like yelling in his mic. That's all
Oh,
I'm hearing, bro.
oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then out of nowhere, the whole thing filled up, and the rest of it was just a vibe. I'm singing my heart out with every single song, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, um, it was a vibe. It was fun. They played one song that is not released at all. I'm not gonna lie, I think it was the best song of the whole set. I can't wait for this song to come out. It was so freaking good, man.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So Derek got really into it, not knowing them super well. He loved it. And then Brennan loves nothing more as well, and then Nikki enjoyed it as well. So that all happens, right? I'm not going to detail their whole show, but I
Mm-hmm.
leave, right? Or we're about to leave. I have my VIP thing I have to do. So, uh, let's get it over here, Rick. Okay. So, first of all, fun fact: I don't like to share this too much because it lowers my chances of pulling this off. But um, Vincent knows this story. A lot of times you can go up to the front of house people, so people running the mix or the lights or whatever, and be like,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, do you have a set list?" Right? So you can take home set lists with you. I have a number of them. I even got one from a Guns N' Roses concert a couple of years ago. It worked out
Mm.
really well. But other times I've had them be like, "It's all digital," and like yell at me, like, "Okay, don't know why you're so protective of it."
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, this one was uniquely special. It has all of the songs on there, right? And then this
Mm-hmm.
part where Mark, the guitarist, was just vamping over a beat, right? He's playing the guitar, and they
Mm-hmm.
labeled that Mark plays with himself. Other than that, and we're in Kansas,
Mm-hmm.
it looks like this. There
That's funny.
it goes.
Oh my gosh.
It's got the yellow brick road and four characters from the Wizard of Oz with all four band members' faces printed on it, right?
I love it.
Right. And I went up to the guy who was running lights and he goes, "You know what, man? You're from Kansas. I'm from Kansas. Here you go." And my question is, bro,
Mm-hmm.
whenever is this getting used? Like,
I
what are we
know.
going to do with it anyway? you know, might as well just freaking give it to me. So I don't know why you have to make a justification for it, but I got that.
That's
This is
awesome though.
being cooler than the freaking VIP. So I spent somewhere in the region of a lot of money on the VIP. People know this. I've taught VIP stuff before. All
Mm-hmm.
I got is this: a pre-signed album cover. They didn't sign it in front of me. This
Mm.
was pre-signed before they went on tour.
Okay.
And then a picture with him on my. That's it.
Wow.
Not happy about it, man.
Yeah. kind of setting the bar a little low there
I know, and
when you already had a high bar.
apparently so. you know,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even get to talk with him. I just went up to him and I made the most of it, bro. I went up to him and I'm like dapping every one of them up.
Mm-hmm.
I got a photo and I was like, man, you guys killed it tonight. It really hit me deep and all that stuff. And they're like, oh man, thanks, bro. And I was like, dude, yeah. I was like, what I say, I was like, I went through like everyone hit me emotional, man. It was incredible. And they're like, good deal, man. I'm like, so you don't even take it seriously. Sweet.
Exactly.
I
You
was
guys aren't even here.
Dude, I was pissed, bro. I was like, I spent 100 and whatever dollars for this. I'm not gonna lay it out exactly. I don't want y'all to know my funds, but that was that
It
was
was
the
some
crazy
money, man.
some shmoney, dude. And anyway, I say all this because it's a crazy story. That was the craziest concert experience I've ever gone through, man. Like
That's.
for real.
I mean, it sounds like it's the craziest concert experience
Yeah,
ever.
yeah,
Honestly.
yeah. Denison and I narrowly avoided a mosh pit. Dude, that was freaking 8 years ago, man.
Yeah, I know.
God.
Crazy.
We narrowly avoided that, but that was it. I have never had anything like usually I go to bands that are heavy, but people typically I'm either not anywhere near the pit or they're just typically like vibing.
Mm-hmm.
This was not that. This was like a full on experience, bro. It was insane. So yeah, I'll have that story to tell, of course. And I don't think that Nothing More performed better than they did the first time I saw them. But
Mm.
the real thing is, I think I wasted money on VIP.
Just maybe. Just
Yeah,
maybe. You know.
especially because the biggest part of it was we were up close and my friends got there no problem. You know?
Yep, exactly. So you didn't even like get the niceness of being like close,
No.
because, or I should really say like the privilege of being close and like no one else being able to be there other than VIP people. But nope, everybody got there.
Yep. And you have the classic, there's some girl behind us that she uses the excuse of Derek, uh, Brendan, and I being taller than her. She's like, do you guys mind if I get in front of you? We're
Like,
like, we're at the front, so no, you
yeah,
can't.
exactly. What more in front do you want to be?
Dude, she ended up getting to a spot that was right next to us and she just kept staring at me the whole time. It was so weird. It was so
So
weird.
awkward.
Yeah, so weird, bro. So yeah, it was a time, man. Definitely a time I thought we're sharing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
On the
Oh
old watch.
man, I mean that sounds like a dope. That sounds like a really really dope like experience. I
Mm-hmm.
mean it's one of those once in a lifetime ones. Even though the VIP experience may not have been, you know,
VIP.
yeah, what you were
Yeah.
going for, it's still amazing though that you got a chance to do that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, you always gotta savor it whenever you get to meet those people. I think I'm at a point now, just with my experience with music, where I'm trying to make a connection with them. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, that's probably overshooting my shot. I'm totally understanding of that. But at the same time, when you pay a lot of money, you expect more than a pre-signed image and then a quick photo on your phone. You know?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, it's not like they're world famous. you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Maybe they
Anyway,
let it get to their head a little bit too much.
yeah. Oh, dude, and even if they were freaking like Bruno Mars, I still wouldn't pay that money just to get a photo on my phone with Bruno, dude.
I know.
I got things that are way cooler on my phone of not standing with them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, thought that was a funny story. I wanted to start with that. So it was a
It
wild
is, man. It's dope.
time. It was a wild time, but yeah. Let's go ahead and get into our topic, man. We got a good one that we're gonna run through for you guys. It's all about the NFL, man, and not just the NFL, but Thursday night football on Amazon Prime. And I think that they're really making a rush, uh, pardon the pun, to make themselves the primary, showman, if you will, of
Mm-hmm.
NFL with these features. It just makes it in real time with the help of AI more accessible and intuitive for nerds of football without getting in the way of the casual viewer. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I inadvertently ended up in the first night of it ever going live tonight. I also found an article on it as I was just trying to bring the game up, and I was like, "Oh wait, let's see what this is all about." So I say we jump into it, man. What do you think?
I think so too, bro. Let's do it.
All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Hit it. All right. We got new tips and tricks too, man. It's not just
Mm-hmm.
prime NFL video.
Exactly.
We got some new stuff going on too, man. Denison, why don't you actually let's introduce ourselves and why don't you just roll it through there?
Of course.
What's going on, everybody? I'm John,
And I'm Dennison.
and this is the catch up. All right, we're in the form now. We got some new things that we're excited to debut on this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Before we dump fully in to what we're going to talk about, we want to remind you guys of the three. That's right, I said it. Three best ways to support this show. Number one, dang, all kinds of notifications. Number one, we want you to leave us a rating review wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching. It's the simplest thing that you can do. We're talking stars, we're talking a like, we're talking 4.5 out of 5, or even 5 out of 5. It's a really easy way to let us know what you think of this podcast. And on top of that, it helps put us out in front of more potential viewers. Number two, see again, example of what two looks like. Oh, a second. Oh, that's a flex, dude. Here I was flexing about a freaking set list, and you're over here with I got a flip phone. Sheesh, there's two. All right, all right. Um, yeah, follow us on Facebook and YouTube if you're not already on there. Give us a follow and jump on here with us every week. You get to let your thoughts be known about whatever we're talking about in real time and affect the direction of this show, just as Christina did when we were rolling out the new what would it be? The new rollout. Yeah, we're rolling out the new rollout. Why not say it that way? Christina said, and I quote, very cool, which I appreciate. We both do.
Mm-hmm.
So we want you to let your thoughts be known about whatever it is that we're talking about each week. So follow us, subscribe wherever you're watching. And if you're on audio, jump over to the video side. And number three, oh my goodness. Look at that. Dang, you be playing some tunes, man. Number three, jump over to our Good Clean store, man. Why not? You know what I mean? We got all kinds of good clean merch over there. We have shirts. We have, and guess what? Spoiler alert, it's starting to get cool. We have hoodies. We have long sleeves. We have hats. We have beanies. We got a mug so you can get your nice warm coffee in there. And it has a special effect on it too. And we
Mhm.
have phone cases. So we got all kinds of cool things. We definitely want you to jump over there and check it all out. So, without further ado, let's jump into this topic. And I want to ask Dennison, and this is in no way like a hey, what's up, you casual viewer? Like kind of a thing. But
Mhm.
I would say, based on what I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're
Mm.
more of a casual viewer of football, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
So let me ask you this and answer however you feel necessary.
Mhm.
New AI in depth tools to understand the game better and the risk of a sack or the opportunity for a touchdown here, or things like that. How does that appeal to you?
You know,
Logging off?
no, I mean, I think it's really cool. I think it's a really, really cool um integration of AI, right? You know, I think it's a great way to make the game even more interesting, especially for casual viewers like myself.
Okay. So you do think so if you were watching a game,
Mm.
you would say, you know what, I'm actually a little more invested in this game now.
Yeah.
That's great. That's fantastic. That's great news. And we're gonna jump in and explain to everybody what these are all about. Christina here in the comments, she's saying, no, because I was like, not at all. So Christina's not into it. She's not wanting to tune into the football game just because they got more stats coming to rise. Yeah.
Mhm.
But let me lay some of these features out for you. Now, this is just on Amazon Prime, right?
Mhm.
For Thursday Night Football. Now, today was the first day of the season for Prime to feature Thursday Night Football. It's always either Amazon Prime or NBC, right? And so that's going to be interesting too, because that's a huge investment, right? Um,
Mhm.
for what they are going to basically, I think, just have half of Thursday night games, right?
Yeah.
Which already get less viewership. It's interesting. So I'm going to scroll down here a little bit. One of these features, all of this used with multiple types of AI to enhance your real-time viewing, not highlights looking back, not this or that. Right?
Mhm.
So prime targets. This is a machine learning model that highlights which receivers have created separation from defenders within their routes and are in position to convert a first down. This all unfolds on the screen in real time, and that way you get to know what possible options in real time the quarterback would use, right?
Mhm.
A great option. I will say this, I'm wanting to go through every option one by one. Every not option, but every feature one by one.
Mhm.
But I want to say this before I continue on, man. That seems like a huge investment in technology, with such little relief from it. Because in the time that receiver separates themselves from a defender to where it would say, hey, this is the person the quarterback wants to throw to. You know what's happening? By the time that
Mhm.
circle comes around, quarterback's like, because that quarterback's throwing.
Yep.
You know
Exactly.
what I mean? The
Split
react
second decision.
It's a split second decision, quick reaction time. It's not like the AI is going to circle a receiver. You're going to be like, hey, you should throw it to that guy. No, it's already going to be like, it's going to be like circle, boom, catch. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Exactly. Exactly. The AI is going to want to be like, treating it like Dora the Explorer. You know, there's a good amount of time. Where is the receiver or where is the quarterback going to throw the football?
Yeah, it gives you like
Click.
A, B, C.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, right. I feel that. That's what it makes it sound like when you're reading it. But when you're watching a game, that's just not practical. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I think, yeah, let's go through these one by one because what I'm starting to get is Amazon is investing money in a product that
Mhm.
is more just, hey, look at us rather than actually benefiting the viewer
Yep.
in a large way, right?
Yep.
Of course, they're aiming it at really in depth football viewers. And I get why they would, right? Because those are the people watching the NFL on Thursday night. You
Yep,
know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah, the fantasy football people, you know?
Yeah, well, yes, I do.
I mean,
I'm
it's
coming
those
back.
statistics, man.
Yeah, I'm coming back for a third win, bro. Let's go.
Okay.
Uh, so, second feature. I have seven. Okay,
Mhm.
a fourth down decision guide. The fourth down decision guide allows fans to place themselves in the shoes of NFL coaches when it comes time to make pivotal decisions. Should a team go for it on fourth down or should they punt? The feature uses machine learning to not only calculate the likelihood of success for both options, but also how the decision will affect the team's game winning probability. So, I'm going to put it this way, right? It's a close game, 5 minutes left in the game, right? You're on the other team's side of the field. So you've crossed midfield
Mhm.
and it's 4th and 3, right?
Mhm.
What are you going to do? Let me just ask you, what are you going to do? You casual football fan?
Okay, so
So
fourth.
you're on the defensive side of the field. You've already crossed midfield.
Uh-huh.
You're down. You're trying to score, and there's 5 minutes left in the game,
Mhm.
which means with 5 minutes left in the game, you could punt the ball or give it to the other team.
Yeah.
And let's just say you're at midfield. That'd make a lot more sense. We take field goals out of this, right?
Yeah.
You're at midfield. You could punt it away, give it to the other team, and
Mhm.
potentially get a defensive stop and get the ball back in time to go score.
Mhm.
Or you could go for it on that 4th and 3, get the first down, and keep your drive going.
Mhm.
Which one would you do?
Honestly, I would punt it, man. I'd punt it because you're midfield. I'm not even close to field goal range. And yes, technically there's a possibility of me getting within, if I can get that first down, that gets me within field goal range most likely. And then I can go from there. But I think just the pop if I've been struggling this hard, if my team has been struggling this hard just to get midfield, we're gonna go ahead and punt it, man.
I feel that. Christina says double it and give it to the next person, which
Oh my gosh.
I forgot that option. That's my bad.
Yeah.
I'll tell you honestly, man, that would probably be the best decision or the best reason for that fourth down decision guide. So you as a viewer are looking at it analytically, what would be the best thing to do here? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
What
Mhm.
makes the most sense if I were the NFL coach, whether I should move forward and go for a fourth down or whether I should bet on my defense. And I'll tell you what, I'm in favor of this feature because you say you have the New York Jets in that situation, right?
Mhm.
It's probably going to say go for it because their defense is not that good. Okay. Oh, wait, that's a
Yeah.
lie. Sorry, NFL viewers. That's a lie. Their defense used to not be that good. Their defense is actually pretty decent this year. But, go to a lower team like the Vikings, lesser defense, right?
Mhm.
It'd probably tell them to go for it. However, you have like the Cowboys, they got a great defense this year. And it's not just because I'm a fan. You go for it. That would be a different toll analytic. It would probably lean more to punt it, rely on your defense, get it back. You know what I mean? Rather
Mhm.
than turn it over with favorable field position. Um, Aaron, chime in. Good to see you, man. Glad that you're
Mm.
here. Aaron's chiming in
Mhm.
on the comments. He says, any given Sunday, man, this is a game of inches. It is. And to the point of this particular Amazon feature, this Amazon Prime feature for Thursday Night Football, that's a good feature, because it's location dependent, it's team dependent. If that AI is accurate, that's a very impressive feature. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So let's scroll down. Defensive alerts. Prime Vision with next gen stats. New defensive alerts feature employs a neural network driven by generative AI that grows stronger and more accurate as more and more plays unfold. It tracks the movements of defensive players before the snap, reads their acceleration, and identifies players of interest that are likely to rush the quarterback. When the potential blitzer is identified, a red circle appears under them to give viewers a head up. Okay. How do you feel about this one?
Mm. Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
You know, I think this is kind of similar in the same vein as the quarterback one. It's a nice to have, but I don't think it's really that much of a game changer, right? And things are happening so fast that I mean, sure, it probably has more time to write like this is what's gonna probably happen or blah blah blah. But it's you know, it's negligible. For the most part, I'm pretty sure it's stuff that we already knew. Like as football fans, you would already know, like, okay, this is probably where we're gonna, you know, where we're gonna see our biggest pressure moments or pressure spots.
Exactly right, man. That's a great external view to give this, bro. It really is because if you know the team, or just if you know football, right? Like people know, for example, sorry, I'm just going to keep giving Cowboys players, right?
I
So they know,
can tell
like,
who your team is.
oh man. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I grew up there, bro. I have to, Um, but yeah, it's just you're right. It's gonna be one of those things where you're gonna know because Micah Parsons, for example, is he was a star defender. Um, Other people have stepped up. Stephon Gilmore being one of them, being a new acquisition to the team.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then Trevon Diggs, definitely. But the thing about it is, if you're watching and it's like 4th and 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
And linebackers are lined up like I was mentioning, right? So you have them like close on the line of scrimmage, right? They're close like this.
Mm-hmm.
Micah Parsons is gonna rush, man. You just know that's gonna happen because they're gonna try to stop the defense from getting that first down and having a turnover on downs, right?
Yeah. No, you're not wrong.
Otherwise, man, and this may be just a biased opinion. I'd love to know how our comments feel, but I just feel like that the defensive alerts are worthless otherwise because you're gonna see or you're already gonna know. You're gonna be able to read those people and know what they're gonna do. You know,
Yeah. No, I think you're right.
yeah. I think our chatterbox knows this. It may help in certain situations. What would be interesting for me is people that fake like they're falling back and it circles them saying they're going to rush a quarterback. If that ends up happening,
That's be cool. That would be really
and
neat.
yeah, if it ends up happening and it's right, then that would blow my mind. I'm going to have to watch Prime football a couple more weeks to know if that's true or not. Key plays. AI and machine learning also provide in-game options for viewers to tailor their experience. Key Plays is the new feature that allows fans to view in-game highlights and key moments on demand while watching Thursday Night Football on Prime Video. So it basically, if you're recording, you get to bounce. Like imagine you were recording on YouTube TV, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
like, friend comes over, hey man, you should totally see this. You get to bounce to it immediately rather than having to rewind, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's really all that is. But also for AI to be able to learn that in game at the moment, that's impressive, dude.
Yeah, it is
I won't,
impressive.
I won't lie. But I mean, is that anything to write home about?
Nah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Nah. I mean, and you know, that's the thing. Eh, I mean, looking at some of these features so far is already, you know, it's impressive in general for an AI to be able to do this without having that human intervention, right? But, you know, it's stuff that we already kind of, as football fans, you already kind of know about.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, Aaron said in the comments, I actually just remembered I am facing off against Aaron in fantasy football right now. And he said, hey, you notice that 70 points just sitting on my bench for good old Kirk Cousins? Shaking my head. 70, bro, and he lost. See, that's the crazy thing about fantasy football is it translates different, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's, the MVP of the league is not necessarily the best fantasy player, you know. Dak
Mm-hmm.
Prescott several times in the last year rated mid-level for league quarterbacks, but he's often been the best quarterback for fantasy players. Um, and man, Aaron, RIP, bro. I mean, you got. Hold up, let me go back. You not only lost 70 with Kirk Cousins on the 7 points with Mason, his wide receiver. Still got 45 with Jalen Hurts and Philadelphia defense, bro. But I got Patty Mahomes, my guy.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've had Patty Mahomes for the last 3 years, bro. I keep making him my keeper. I'm like, I'm not giving him up to somebody else. I'm like, oh, that's crazy. I'm still predicted to win on Yahoo Fantasy. Sheesh.
Sheesh.
Yeah, but as Aaron goes on to say, this is his opinion. This stuff is super cool for people who aren't football people. That's a great perspective, right? Like,
That
say
is.
you're watching this game with somebody like that doesn't understand football, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a simple, assisted way to explain how football can work, and not just on a surface level, but like an in-depth level.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great point. That's a great point. I like that thought. Rapid recap. Denison and I actually tried this out. You can
Mm-hmm.
jump in anytime you want on the game at any point, hit rapid recap, and it will give you up to 13 highlights of the game to let you know why we're at where we're at and how it got there. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the biggest plays that happened. I guess it's kind of redundant, but you guys know what I'm saying. Um, so yeah, that's a very effective thing. We just tried it. The edits were absolutely clean. It looked great. There was no slow motion replays of anything. We did notice that. It was just clean cuts and on to the next.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it was great. So pretty simple explanation there. X-ray. This is something that you can use when you watch movies to get in-depth information on actors and filmographers and stuff like that. With football, you get player performance metrics, team and player info, shop NFL merch, and predict the outcome of the game with fan polls. So that's pretty basic level stuff, man.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
player
We're
performance,
not breaking any new ground, not really.
not at all. Not with that, right? I mean, that's all stuff a quick Google search will get you. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm. I think it's the big thing about it is that, you can get all that from the comfort of your own couch, right? From the couch that you're watching.
right? Sure, but it's not necessarily easy to navigate that stuff on a TV compared to doing it on a computer. You know,
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But I'm just saying. I
yeah.
I think I think again, it's one of these. It's like Aaron said. These are features for non-football people, and it's a great way to keep those people more engaged, and to choose Amazon as the platform that they want to watch any of their sports on.
Right. Somebody's like,
You
you know
know.
what, man? I'm becoming a Cowboys fan now. Because of course they would. Then they're like, da da da, just buy it while they're watching the game. It's a good
Mm-hmm.
feature. I get it. I get it. I guess I would just have to test out how fluid it is of a
Yeah.
feature, you know.
Yeah.
Uh is it janky? Does it bounce around, do this, do that? No. I just have to test it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Same.
So yeah, so that's a quick one on that one. Pressure probability not out yet. Spoiler alert. Dennison and I went over this. I like the idea of this, right?
Yep.
Um, it will come out later this season. I don't remember how many games Prime is covering for Thursday night compared to NBC. I know they split it. I don't remember what the split is, but this a bit or program, this effect will capture the pressure on quarterback and how it evolves after the snap. Um, so, that's really all it explains it as. What you can guess is there will be a little bar at the bottom, right? That
Yep.
shows how much pressure is being put on the quarterback in real time. I love that because when you're up from the press box, it's you get an idea, but not as good of an idea until it replays it from the cable as to how close that pressure was on the quarterback, right?
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And you as a viewer sometimes don't notice just how much pressure is going on until you see it during the replay. because there's a lot going on at the snap. So um being able to kind of like have a visual bar that just kind of like showing you or some sort of visual is really cool.
Yeah, I completely agree, man. I think that that's something that changes in real time. I personally would love to know what is constituted as quarterback pressure when obviously you have people coming up on you. I know it's kind of hard to see. I'm going to expand the shot so this is easier to explain. But, when you have people coming up on you, where's my other hand? Like this, you
Hmm.
know, that's a lot of pressure. When they're coming up on you like this, how does that affect the quarterback? All those kind of things. I'd love to know the difference with the angles
Same.
um, from a data, yeah, from a data point. So those are really the features, man. And I think it's cool. It'll be interesting to see how this affects other broadcasts or if this just remains an Amazon thing for a while. Um, but yeah, I mean, that is something that we've kind of dipped on or yeah, dipped into.
Hmm.
But what overall do you feel like this means for the future of football viewership and maybe even from a perspective of expanding it, right?
Hmm. I think this is just the tip of the iceberg because I can see a lot of really really neat and cool features to come out of this. Um, that we haven't seen before or can be even more efficient or even cooler to look at or whatever like that, just more things to really get. I think i think right now this is mainly for non-football people, but I think in general, as this evolves, as the technology evolves and gets better, I think I can really see this becoming like an integral part of like how football, how fans view football, right? And help people get more into speed and help more people get into the sport. Um, so I only see it, going up from here, really and truly. I think this is just a testing ground. And Amazon is honestly one of the few companies that I think could truly pull this off.
Yeah,
Um, just because of the amount of backing that they already have.
it really is interesting, man, how they've been advertising their AI capabilities, right? Now we're seeing it in
Mhm,
football. They use a very simplistic version of it in F1 because
mhm.
AWS, which is, a part of Amazon,
Yep,
what does it stand for, bro? Do you remember? Is it Amazon Web Services? It's not,
yep,
right? It
it
is.
is, it
Okay.
is. Amazon
Uh,
Web Services.
Real quick, Aaron says analytics is involving in so many sports. How soon do other sports adopt the tech for viewers?
Mm,
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's kind of where I was going into. So when you watch F1, right, which I do every race, of course, this has been going on for I think 5 years now, if not more.
mm,
They use AWS to predict the closing rate of of a car chasing down the car in front of it, right?
mhm,
So with F1, for people who don't know, it's not a bad thing if you're 10 seconds behind the car in front of you. Like NASCAR, for American racing viewers with NASCAR, you'd be like, oh, well, that guy's not going to win, right? But
mhm,
depends on your tire strategy and the capability of your car. You could be 10 seconds behind, have a good, fast car, and be on a good tire strategy, catching those people in front, right?
mhm.
And they use AWS to track at what lap those two cars will meet each other, right?
Yep,
When the trailing car will catch the one in front of it. But it's a very simplistic thing, right?
mhm.
I mean, there's so many other things I could go into with that, really. You
Yep,
know, you don't see this kind of stuff in IndyCar. You don't see it in NASCAR. You don't see it. I don't recall seeing anything like this in, well, you definitely don't see it in basketball. You don't. You don't
no,
see it in the NBA. I'm not a regular hockey or baseball viewer. I know analytics in baseball, they do a heck of a good job knowing what the speed of the pitch was and the distance of the hit. They do a great job of that. I do know that.
they do.
And that's impressive with the it's more impressive with the distance of the hit than it is just the speed of the pitch, really, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really amazing. But um, you know, another thing I've noticed in Formula One is they're able to highlight a space around the F1 car that stays true as the car goes like this really fast through corners
Hmm.
with a little their number, their icon above them. It's nothing special, right? So I feel like Aaron asks a good question when this will actually become a prevalent thing in other sports. And man, it just makes you wonder, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, I think there's a ton of really, really neat features that I think can be really employed into a lot of sports. And really evolve how things are done as viewers. I mean, I love that you brought up baseball because I think baseball is one of those things. Sorry, baseball is not for me. So all you baseball fans, please don't get mad at me, but it's just not for me. I do really enjoy being in watching baseball, in person. But if I'm watching it on the TV, it's just not fun. But if if they're able to employ AI to somehow, I don't know how, but get me into baseball enough to where I can watch it, and like there's all these stats and statistics going on, and like maybe even like some sort of like a struggle chart. It sounds weird, but like you're seeing kind of like the momentum and kind of pressure that what each side is giving each other, and kind of like showing how much closer it's getting to, to one team than the other, and just showing how much more momentum they're getting. I think that would be really cool. I think that'd be a really, really cool feature to implement. And I think that's something that AI could easily do, just going off of the amount of information that it's gathering.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things. So Brooke is tuning in on the podcast. And Brooke,
Mm.
so great to see you and hear from you.
Yeah.
Hope you're doing well. She says, I'm just tuning in. I might have missed y'all talking about this, but what about ticket sales? If the additions just need, or if the stations just need AI, why do people go pay for good seats anymore? It just depends. It depends on who you are as a viewer, right?
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
either you're a person that watches from home, and I'll say it like this. This is from my experience, right? When I'm at home, I try to dive into every nitty-gritty part of what's going on, right? Because you're able to do that with the broadcast. When you're
Hmm.
at the event, you're experiencing it, right? And you're not so
Hmm.
much worried about this or that. I think the goal is different here. I don't think it's trying to take away the people at the stadium. I sure there is a possibility of a loss with that. Absolutely.
Hmm.
This technology is not advanced enough yet to make people stop buying tickets for sure. But it does make you wonder if someday it gets so good where you feel you're at the stadium. I mean, it's highly probable someday,
Yeah.
a couple hundred years from now, we're all in AI, some sort of thing produced by AI that makes us feel like we're at the stadium and we're not, and the players are on some type of playing field. You know,
Yeah, yeah, I can see a whole VR experience, right? You just put your VR headset on, and say VR gets advanced enough to where it jacks into like your nervous system to where you can experience that whole possibility. But I think as stuff evolves, I think things will be different, right? So maybe you may not go outside to go to the game, but maybe you still purchase tickets to the VR experience or something similar to that. So I feel like just the environment of being in a stadium, I don't think that's going to go away anytime soon.
I agree. Let's um let's tackle Aaron's question here too. He says another thing is the momentum of football perfect for this display. Would baseball be too slow? Basketball be too fast? I'm not, trying to disagree over
Mm,
this stuff at all. But I think it would work for me personally. Let me put it this way: if they started, because first of all, some of this stuff is not needed in football, right?
hmm.
It's not like some of it that we went over. is just not effective. You don't need it. Um, yeah, I unfortunately went away from the page where I would reference it. But I do think that, it's starting with football because football is the biggest revenue generating sport there is in America, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be perfect for things like soccer, you know?
Yeah,
If you
I
have
think so
stuff in
too.
real, imagine a thing that says the likelihood, it gives a percentage likelihood of making a kick, right?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be epic. I
Yeah.
think
You
with
could do the
base
same thing with basketball and free free point uh throws or 3-point shots. Sorry, gosh darn. Free.
absolutely.
Gosh darn. I'm having a hard time. But yeah, you know.
With that kind of a thing, though, Aaron makes a great point. Would it be too fast? Well, that is some of the risks with some of the things they're integrating with football. You
Mhm.
know, like what routes receivers are running that like make them open, and they highlight them. They're noticing that at the exact same quarterbacks are noticing that at the exact same time the players are being circled. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
If
Mhm.
anything, all you're gonna do is show up, like, exploit subpar quarterbacks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what that's gonna do. And I agree. He says soccer is like the same momentum. I do agree. Um, yeah.
Although,
Go ahead, bro.
well, no, I was just thinking, as this, as we all know, right? AI is, oops, sorry. Um, AI is one of those things that is consistently learning and growing and all sorts of other stuff like that. And I wouldn't be surprised with, 2, 3 years down the road that it's able to predict just as well as the quarterbacks are going to do. And so it's going to be able to essentially in the exact same time and speed, right? Because AI is fast. Its reaction time is almost instant, essentially, if it's trained well.
Right.
Um, to where it'll draw that line, right? And it'd say, like, bam, they're gonna do this. Boom. I can see something similar to that.
I do. I agree, man. Yeah, if it would, predict the play before the play even starts. So let me backtrack. I'm not gonna disagree with you, Aaron. I think you're exactly right, man. With what we're describing here, it really kind of only works for football. It'd have to be totally different approaches to AI for it to work at all with other sports, you know.
Mm,
Um, I do think with baseball, it's interesting, right? Because it would appeal to more tech appreciative people, right? Because
mhm.
it has so much time to exploit. Hey, AI is predicting this, or this is what will happen here, that kind of a thing. And even so, I'd go so far as to say it could even just completely ruin baseball because there's almost only so many possibilities of outcomes that could be predicted, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Um, but yeah, it's just something that I don't, man, I don't have the answers right now. I don't have the best answers for what it could be used for in the best way, you know.
Yeah, same.
But I think that with racing, there's a definite use for it there, man. Basketball, you could use it pregame. Here's where this person will hit the most shots from. This is where defenders need to watch out for,
Mhm.
um, and
Do like
stuff
a
like that.
predicted score
Yeah,
for each
yeah.
team.
I think except for racing, I think that AI like this, at least how we're imagining it now, you know, like giving that possibility that we're not using wide enough imagination,
Mhm.
it may only appeal to technology people or just, not the casual fan. Whereas I think with the NFL, with it using these AI additions to the broadcast, I think it's a welcome addition for those broadcasts, where it could
Same.
either just completely, well, and with the example I was giving with basketball, right? Those are only going to be good for people who watch pregame. They're not going to care if, they're not going to know watching it live because it's not going to be able to show you that in real time. I mean, maybe it could if they just repeat it over and over again, but it's going to show AI, hey, pregame, this person's likely going to hit this shot from here, 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 right?
Mm-hmm.
But they also already have that data. So it's just, it's tough. It's kind of tough for me to predict how else this could be used, you know?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Same. It's um it's kind of cool though, just to see that we're doing this kind of stuff. I didn't think that it was going to get integrated into like more mainstream things like football um this soon.
Well, that's a great point, man. That's actually, it's a great point because as I've continued to talk about AI and these kind of advances, not everybody's on board with this, man. Not everybody wants this type of involvement. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you're right.
And I'm not trying to be like a naysayer or talk badly about anybody, but there's probably people out there that are like, man, this is just going to take over. Soon you're going to have robots playing football. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm being serious. There are going to be people that perceive it that way. You
I
know,
mean, yeah, that's true. You're right. You're right. There's gonna be plenty of people out here that are gonna say that. They're gonna say, "Oh, well, see, robots are taking over. The
yeah.
computers are taking over. The sport is no longer fun anymore. It's gonna be like chess." You know.
For real, dude, that'd be actually really interesting to watch. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, anyway, let's answer Brooke's question real quick. She said, I should have specified the example. The Rams' last game, there weren't enough fans in the stands that the NFL would have liked to have been there, so they could use AI to fill the stands. You know, like this happens in movies and TV shows, etc. Yeah, that's
I could
tough.
see that.
I
I
can
could
see
see
that
that.
too. Yeah.
But the problem is that we noticed this during the pandemic, right? Players really do like get a lot of fuel off of the fans being there, and that's something that, sure, as someone who's watching on the TV, um they won't notice, but I feel like you will notice in how the athletes play.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. So, and one thing I would say about that too is it just I could see something of that. Yeah, you would notice how the out athletes play, but you know, if they really want from a national TV audience to, you know, put that on Sunday night football, even though there aren't that many ticket sales, and they could just fill it in with AI, but that would become noticed at some point, probably that
Mm,
day. You know, at least how
yeah.
it is now. At least how it is now. And I think that would take away from football, the NFL as a whole. So, but it's a good thing to bring up, Brooke, and definitely a possibility for sure. So we appreciate you doing that.
Hmm.
But yeah, man, I think we had a good discussion on this, and we're so glad. It's all so many of y'all jumped in to further this conversation. We really appreciate it. So thank
We
you.
really do.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your thoughts. Remember to give us a rating and review wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching. Let us know what you think of this episode of the podcast of a whole. It's really, really quick on the whole, I meant to say. And also, if you are not listening to this on live stream, jump on Facebook, jump on YouTube, give us a follow, search our podcast name, and jump in the live stream and let us know your thoughts each and every week. And check out our merch page. It's linked wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching. It's got all kinds of neat clothes. So, and more actually. Why not say more? With all that said, thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch up with you next week.